again, Saturday will tell me, and throughout the season will tell me. But he's been very efficient. He was efficient this past Saturday. He makes good decisions. I've always said Keith, I've always thought of him almost like a point guard in basketball. He has a really unique ability to distribute the football, to see things and feel things that are going on around him. And he's actually a very good basketball player on top of that. And I think this system forces you to do that because you can't look at everything and take in all the information and then push enter and get a result. You have to be able to take things in as they come and then know where to go with the football and do it quickly. And so those types of things I think are helpful for Keith, and his ability, he has such quick hands to make great decisions with the ball. It's been helpful for him.
Could he run this offense a couple of years ago, or is it more suited to a guy who's seen more and been around?
I think this suits him a little bit better. If you remember in the Baylor game, we used a little bit of it there, especially early on, to try to force the tempo in that game, and Keith was pretty effective in it, but that was at the end of his first year as a starter. I think if, knock on wood, if something happened to Keith and Siler came in the game to play, Siler would be fine operating in it because he's just been doing it the same amount of time Keith has been doing it. So, I think that when you make that initial transition to it, you need time. It's not something that you can do mid-season when you only have 20 hours that week to get it done. I think you have to make a wholesale change to do it. And that was one of the challenges for us last year. We knew we were better in a no-huddle setting. We just didn't have enough offense when we were in it. And so it was a fine line of how much we were practicing that as well as our traditional offense. And so that's what made the decision so much easier after the season to go wholesale to it.
Sorry, can you talk a little bit about how the up-tempo fits the strengths of the rest of the offense outside of Keith?
Well, I think with our athletes, gets the ball in their hands in space to create plays. I think we have an athletic offensive line that does a nice job of getting to the second level, getting on linebackers, and I think we have enough running backs to where with the increase in plays comes the increase in carries. Not all those carries necessarily have to go to Bishop, Dwayne Washington, Deontay Cooper, Jesse Collier. All of those guys will carry the ball as well.
We've had a lot of success with the up-tempo, and a lot of that success has been because of the depth of the offensive line. How does your depth in the O-line stack up to be able to maintain freshness?
Well, I feel good about it. Obviously, with some of the experience of James Atoe, Shane Brostick, we have a couple of younger players I think are on the verge of doing something pretty special here in Jake Eldrenkamp and Coleman Shelton. And then when we get Eric Kohler back, I think we have 10 guys that I feel good about. Sifa Tafunga is another guy who I think could go in and contribute. So I feel great about that. I feel better about our O-line this year than arguably any of our years. I mean, there was the one year years that we brought all those guys back. Was that second year, I think? If I'm not mistaken. But when there was a lot of guys coming back, there was a lot of continuity. But I feel as good or better about this year's unit than I have. And I think part of that's getting Colin Tanagawa back. I think he's a real presence. I think it's the maturity of Micah Hatchie, the maturity of Dexter Charles, the maturity of Mike Chris, the maturity of Ben Reba. I mean, these guys got a valuable experience last season that set them up for an off-season of, okay, this is what I have to expect next fall when I come back. So this is what I need to work on physically. This is what I need to work on mentally. And then this is what we need to work on as a group to be so cohesive, to be so close, to know every nuance of the plays, working together. And it's a tight-knit group. And I feel great about what they're going to do. I'm excited for them because I think, as much as we try to quiet the noise around them, I'm sure they hear, well, the O-line last year, the O-line last year, the O-line last year. So again, another big chip on their shoulder to come out and perform and show that what they're capable of doing as well.